Hello, all and y'all. My name is Steven. Thanks so much for joining me today on the Counseling Road. Gosh, Monday evening, 10:13. Just had first class of the week, multicultural awareness. What a wonderful lecture. Things came up that just shock and awe, folks. Gosh, to even say it out loud seems atrocious, but it was a great lecture. The most moving sentiment here. Here's the brief synopsis of a scenario: is someone is praising a young black child, and the caregiver of the child says, "Oh no, don't give him a big head. Don't tell him those things. That's not going to work." And the question goes, well, why would the caregiver do that? That's not loving. That defeats a lot of purposes. It seems so counterproductive. But that's all my bias. That's all the practitioner's bias. The point that the instructor brought up, and where this potentially comes from, is that a young black child with more value was sold for more in the slave trade and taken away from the parents. So this is multi-generational trauma of the caregiver still trying to protect their child from being taken from them. Uh, yeah, so sit with that. I know that's quite impactful to me. We talked about strength-based cultural capital and how to really draw things, help draw things out of people by asking them questions, and so they know what to lean on. That they already have potentially a lot of resources that they can lean on, and that it tells the therapist more about what resources are available to this person, ways to get them to open up. So that was pretty fantastic. Big week, lots of reading assigned in the last week. I had my first paper due, albeit only 3 pages. It still took a good amount of hours. Still has to be formatted a certain way. It was really fun. I like thinking like that, and I received good feedback from the instructor. So happy to do that. Also turned in a project plan, which took me a few drafts. I submitted early, and the teacher gave me feedback, and I ran with that feedback, and I kind of ran in on myself on the feedback and didn't know how to really proceed in the best way. But there is no best way, folks. That's a perfectionist way of thinking. For this, there's only my way, and it's got to fit the teacher's requirements. But the perfect doesn't exist. So, feeling good about that assignment. The assignment, I had to create an intention. My intention is to listen with acceptance. I have to have an activity which I pursue weekly, keep myself scheduled, and keep myself honest with that. My activity is eating in silence, eating plant-based foods in silence for multiple days of the week. And then I am to track that through photography, journaling, and song. And I did it all today. And I look forward to those sessions going forward. And I will do that 3 times a week for the next 7 weeks or 6 weeks, however long that adds up. I stayed really connected with myself this week, with breathing, listening to my body, seeing where I'm feeling things in my body, where I'm being challenged externally, and how I internalize that. Really pivotal stuff. I don't want to gloss over it. In fact, I'd like to just sit with it and continue for that to be the discussion. But I don't know that would be as interesting as I don't know if any of it's interesting. So we'll touch on that. We'll touch on some of the reading here. Nature and the Human Soul, this Bill Plotkin book. Dense. First chapter assigned. Really hit home, describing a phase in a child's life where they're in the garden and they are the wanderer. I have a friend with a child who's almost 7, and this is just describing this kid to a T. Oh, yeah, sure, she watches TV and she can be a little pain, but I've seen her marvel at everything in nature, talk to things they talk back to her. She dances. She's full of legit spirit. Beautiful, beautiful kid. So much like her mom. It's amazing. So that hit home. Nicknaming. The parents have nicknamed this kid. It doesn't have anything to do with her real name, and it's gonna last forever. This name. Beautiful. I don't remember how that relates in the book, but it came up. What else? Maybe we just call it good. Oh gosh, I have to lead some things in my class tomorrow, in the human development class. I'm going to ask people to draw or create a piece of art, and I'll give them some baseline parameters, and then afterwards I'm going to describe all the developmental techniques that they used, including empathy, imagination, creating not a backstory, but like a mythology, how it relates to family cosmology. Gosh, I'm pretty excited to do that, and I hope it's received well. So, quick episode. I think people might like quicker episodes. I don't know. I could talk for a while. I got water running, defrosting some beans. Hopefully you can't hear that. But anyway, here's to a great week for you and me and for everyone else. Take care, everybody.